Hey you guys, it is your girl Kia V up in the building, all up on your screen, and today this conversation might actually get a little deep. It might actually get a little deep. It is something that I've pondered. You guys see the title down below. I definitely want you guys to comment. Tell me what you think. Single mothers, mothers that, have husbands, that are with their boyfriends or stuff like that. Let me know in the comment section. Is it unfair to the child to voluntarily be a single parent? And I don't mean like get with a guy, use him, and then have his kid and be like, deuces, don't tell him, or it just don't work out and check him to the side. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like in vitro fertilization by yourself, just just you. Literally. Is it? Is it okay? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think it's a good thing? Because I've actually been thinking about this and I thought about it a long time ago. And I actually brought it up to my sister one time because I was like, if I don't have a kid, at that time, it was probably like 32. I was like, if I don't have a kid by 32, and even to this day, I won't even lie, I'm still thinking about it. If I don't meet the guy that is supposed to be for me, that God has made for me, we get married and I have a kid by 32, 33. Would it be wrong for me to just go ahead and do in vitro fertilization? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I feel like I am, feel like I'm not. Let me know. But would it be wrong for me to just decide to just do it by myself and just literally be a volunteeringly single mom? Would that be wrong? Would that be bad for the child that I give birth to? Because at first I didn't used to think it was a problem with it at all. I'm like, well, as long as I got my money up, I got all the love in the world for this child and stuff like that. I feel like my parents would love it. My family would definitely embrace it and all this other stuff. Like they really, I don't know if they would really mind. I think that they would prefer that I do meet a husband and then have a child. But the way these boys is boying, Mom, the way these men's ain't menning out here. Listen, they not acting nothing like my daddy. Okay? They acting ridiculous. Point blank in a period. My dad is an amazing man. Is he perfect? Not at all. But he has characteristics that definitely make him stand out for the rest from the rest. So I mean, listen, compared to these boys that's out here boying, it's not the same. These men ain't the same like my mama picked. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them, but something wrong with them. Something in the water. They mama didn't breastfeed them right. Something. Something's off. So I I know that they want me to do it that way. But if honestly, I don't know, maybe the God will be like, oh, you meant to be by yourself. I pray he never says that to me, point blank in the period. I know some people are made for it, but it's not me. God, please, no. No. But because I do know I am getting of age and everybody wants to remind you that you are getting of age. So if I decided to have a kid by myself, is it like giving a child a bad hand to the beginning of life? And I didn't used to think it was a problem or not. I didn't think it was a problem. But my sister was like, you would really want to do this by yourself? Like, really? And I was just like, I mean, and people ain't working out. But I mean, I think it's different than, getting with somebody, loving somebody, and then you guys aren't working out as opposed to you being like, sis, I'm just doing it by myself. I don't care. I don't care. You can't figure out who the dad is for real, stuff like that. I know they have programs now where, if they do want to keep in contact with the dad or the sperm donor, eventually in the future they can. But I mean, it wasn't until I literally watched a YouTube video with two guys talking about it that they actually made me feel really bad for thinking about it. Because they're like, why would you do that to a kid? They're like, it's a different story if, let's say, you adopted a child, but if you literally go to a sperm bank, pick out somebody random, have a kid, and then they'd be like, well, where's my dad? Or how did I get here? Or why did you do this to me? And then I'm like, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't. I felt like I could be like, listen, I wanted you so much, baby. So I just did it by myself because I was getting older, but I really wanted you to be in existence. That's how I felt like. And I felt like they would be understanding. But in reality, I don't know how the child's gonna react to something like that. And it's definitely different than if you adopted a kid. because most times in vitro fertilization, you don't know who the person is. So, and they don't want to be known. You know what I mean? They just being nice and donating some sperm in a cup. But I had never thought of it as a bad thing until they said that, and they were like, all of the disadvantages that you're giving this child, you're automatically letting them see you struggle so much because you will be by yourself. And even if you are making a lot of money, most times when you're making a lot of money, you're working a lot, so you won't be around to really give that child that intimate time that they need, and to be able to let them see two people in a household, functioning and making sure that the mom is not stressed and she's not doing everything on her own. And y'all, they just start talking some real stuff. And I was just like, I didn't think about that. And then it's like, it's kind of selfish. And I mean, it kind of is. It is, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's selfish in the sense that I'm willing to do it by myself. It's not in the sense that I want to love on a child and take care of it and help it to grow to be the best person it can be. But since I do want a son and stuff like that, I do think that it's definitely important for them to have a male figure around so that they know how to carry themselves. They know how to be a man. And that would be a lot of pressure to put on, listen, my dad to be cause my dad's getting up there. He ain't trying to he ain't trying to show a man how to be a man per se. You know what I mean? And to throw that on somebody else, or I date somebody, let's say, and they end up being crazy or something, and they're trying to teach my son stuff. Like, should I just wait on the Lord? Should I just wait on him? Because like I said, I never thought of it in the bad side of things, but then I looked at my life. And me coming from a background with both parents who stayed married, who have, hung in there, taken care of their kids, showed us love and compassion. And then when I see somebody like even my nephew and my brother-in-law, my sister, my nephew is literally obsessed with family. Like, he loves it so much. He loves seeing the dynamic. If anything were to happen to either one of them, he'd be like, no, something's wrong. This isn't right. Like, I could literally see him being a different person, but because he does have two people that are loving him, taking care of them, if one person ain't making this amount, then somebody else got something to bring the slack in. You know what I mean? So it's not just one person literally doing everything. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I don't want to do it that way. I definitely wrote it down in my goal board. I'll just be honest, because I do know I want kids, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to have kids waiting for a stoop to get right. So it's frustrating, but I definitely see why a lot of people do it. Even in that movie or the TV show, Mary Jane. Y'all remember Mary Jane? That used to be my show, by the way, with Gabrielle Union. That used to be that show. Like, we saw how she wanted a family. She wanted to get married. She felt like she was doing everything right. She had this big career. She had everything. And she just kept meeting men, and it just wasn't working out. And she finally did. I mean, she did end up getting married or whatever, doing in vitro fertilization and stuff. We don't know how that story went. So I'm upset about the ending. So I can't use her. But it is an example to see somebody who was really trying to fulfill this dream of being married and then having kids. And I feel like because we're living in a world where there were a lot of selfish people sometimes who decided that divorce was the key answer instead of sticking it through. Now, I don't mean if they were beating you and abusive and all that other stuff, but I'm just saying people who are just like, well, the spark's not there anymore. Let me hop over to Bobby Sue. I hate that we live in a world that's like that, with so much divorce and so much separation, that it's become normal for there to be a single mother or for one person to be taking care of a kid. Like, I feel like it is important to have a two people household of a mom and a dad. I do. I do. You can hate me. You can say whatever you want. But I feel like, honestly, nobody really wants to do that alone. That's a lot. Single parents are amazing. I have seen some single parents firsthand, okay? With a bunch of kids that's out here doing what they got to do. But just to imagine if they would have met the right person, or you know what I mean? Like, if it would have been the ideal dream of it all, it could have been so much easier. is so much better, and they wouldn't have to always be so stressed out, and they wouldn't have to be this superwoman all the time. Like, that's just, see, and I think about that too, because I don't necessarily want to be a superwoman all the time. I feel like that would drain me, and that would deprive my child of having me and having me at my best self when I'm around them. So listen, is it selfish, or can you understand it? Because I feel like part of me can understand it, but now that I'm thinking in detail of it all, like, I don't want to do it by myself, which is why I just don't. Because it's easy to get pregnant out here in these streets. I mean, not for everybody, but I'm just saying in general, I feel like it's easy for people to just go ahead and have a baby. But you don't want to just have a baby with anybody. That's why I'm not just out here getting with anybody just to have a child. And that was the other thing about that too. That was the other thing I thought about, because I mean, yes, it's easy to get knocked up by somebody, but sometimes you don't necessarily. That's being careless though. To be like, sometimes you don't want to deal with that person if you did get pregnant by them. That's careless. That's careless. That's why we got to date with intention. That's why we talking with intention. We not just out here just doing it just to do, just to make a kid. So let me know what y'all think about this topic. Was I all over the place? I feel like I was, but I feel like at the same time I'm getting my point across. Maybe it's just me. I know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But that just really was an interesting topic, because there is so many differences. Your guys, if it's two of you in a household, you guys are bringing two experiences. You guys are bringing two ways to discipline a child. You guys are bringing two forms of love. I feel like different types of love that help fulfill a child. You guys are bringing two incomes into the house that makes things easier, as opposed to just a single parent household. Like, I don't necessarily feel like a lot of people are volunteering to be single parents. Things are just happening. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's different than me just being like, oh, well, I'm volunteering to be this single person with this child. Now, granted, I feel like it may be a little different if I decide to adopt, because it's just my choice to pick that person, to love that person, and help them grow. If they want to see their parents in the future, if they want to figure all that out, they absolutely can. But I feel like that is different than me actually going to a sperm bank and picking out somebody random and being like, okay, let's have a kid. And then the kid has so many questions. But I feel like technically the way this world is set up with all these single parents, they ain't gonna be asking too much. They're just gonna be like, oh, my mom's a single mom at this point. But I feel like they will ask questions eventually. I hate that it's a common thing that there's so many single parents out here. I absolutely hate that. Absolutely hate that. I remember at one point when I was in school, I was the only one that had parents that were together. And my parents have been together for almost 50 years. So, listen, that's love. That is love. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Is it selfish? Am I tripping? Do you think it's all right? You like, it's a new day, it's a new age, sis, do what you do. You got this type deal? Or will I be literally setting myself up for failure if I just decide to do something like this in the future? Because I'm too impatient and I don't want to miss my chance by playing with dum dums. Let me know. All right. Hope you have a good day. I feel like this conversation is definitely something to be talked about and discussed. Let me know what you think. Bye.